Hey guys, what's up? It's Amanda Gish, and you're watching Voice of the Heroes.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. It's the one and only one, Fleetboy Jetson, and you're listening to the #1 anime podcast in the world, Voice of the Heroes. So if you're tuning in for the first time, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, click that notification bell so you don't miss any interviews or discussions from your favorite heroes and villains from around the world. And today we got a very special guest. You can currently see her in Chastity High, a Netflix original that just aired August 29th. And you can also catch her in Very Odd Parents, the movie, Teenage Kraken, and also the amazing anime Summertime Rendering. You got to see that if you haven't. It's amazing. Let's welcome Merk Nguyen to the show. How you doing today?
Ow, ow! I'm on fire, especially after these 10 push-ups we did right before this. I'm Humphrey Boy, so stoked to meet you. Love the show, and I'm stoked, dude.
Thank you, man. I'm happy you here. So let's talk about your character in the new teenage drama on Netflix, Chastity High, that just aired. I'm hyped for you. Let's talk about the character.
All right, so she is a wait, hold on. Is this like a no spoilers podcast, or is it like a hey,
Go crazy. Listen, right now, if you haven't seen Chastity High, spoiler warning, we'll put the the timestamps at the bottom, but go crazy.
Okay, so my character, well, it takes place at this boys and girls school in Japan where there's a rule, there's no romance allowed, no sex, no kissing, no touching. And so basically there's a group of students who are like rabbit hunters and they hunt out the students who are breaking the rules. It's a romance, drama, coming of age thing. And my character is basically the lead of the rabbit hunter squad. She's very like uptight and she comes out to her best friend, who is another girl, and is like, hey, she like tries to go for a kiss, and her friend's like, oh, I don't like you like that. And so this is my first openly queer character, and as an openly queer person myself, I was like, oh, like when I got to the recording, I'm like, oh, well, oh, cool, this is awesome. I wasn't expecting this. So yeah, it was a good time to record that one.
That's what's up. I'm happy for you. So how many episodes is it?
It's an 8 episode thing, and the season ends. I won't spoil it too much, but it ends on a cliffhanger. So if it gets renewed for a second season, yay. And if it doesn't, then it's like, I wasn't satisfied with the ending, TBH, neither was the director, but like, not everything in life is happy. That's what I'll say as the spoiler.
Mm.
Don't always get what you want.
Hopefully, man, especially here on the channel, we love to see you work. So I hope it does get a season 2 because I'm gonna watch it this weekend. That's something that I'm definitely gonna be binging. Now let's talk about some of your characters that you've done in anime, the anime side of things, Summertime Rendering. Let's talk about your character from that.
Okay, so I played Mio, and another spoiler, Shadow Mio. She is a character who is the younger sister of one of the main characters who dies. And not gonna lie, I think Mio's got main character energy. She's like, without her, there's no show. But I think on Wikipedia, it's like she's a reoccurring, and I'm like, okay, do her dirty like that, y'all. Um, but Mio is very innocent. She's really sporty, loves swimming and all of that. And she has a crush on Shinchan, who's the main character. And in the series, she gets duplicated. There's like in the world, there's like a doppelganger shadow person, and so Shadow Mio is just more, like lower register voice, but is basically like a hologram of not a hologram because she actually like can kill people and like stab people and stuff. It's very, very gory. But yeah, she was an awesome, awesome character to play. And it was my first and as of now only anime that I've ever dubbed. But objectively speaking, it's a very, very good show.
You had a couple of highlight moments recently in your career. Now with Chastity High and Summertime Rendering. She was also in Teenage Kraken and Very Odd Parents. Was there any moment in your career so far where you was just so stoked you was like had to call your best friend like, girl, you would not believe it? Like, did you have that moment?
Yeah, I did, but because of NDAs, I had to keep that in for 2 years.
Oh,
And so
wow.
the big one is Fairly Odd Parents reboot. That we just finished season 1 that has had its cable run, and you can get it on Apple TV and Amazon Prime Video. Like you actually have to buy the season though. It will come to Netflix later, but that was one where,
You
man,
played Jasmine in that one, right?
Asmin, yeah, specifically Viet American, just like me. When I auditioned for it, the code name of it was Tiny Magical People, and so I'm like, oh, this could be anything. I didn't even think it could be Fairly Odd Parents because they've done the reboots and stuff, and some of them got taken off of Paramount Plus because they weren't popular with people. But like when I first got the script just for the audition, I'm like, oh, this looks like a really, really fun character. And it kind of the reason why she was so special ties into why I got into voice acting in the first place, but we'll get there. Um, but yeah, I remember I had a callback that was after months after the initial audition, and then um I heard back months after that. I was at a mental health conference speaking on a panel, and then my phone, I go to the bathroom, my phone's blowing up. I'm like, okay, my agent doesn't really call me like that. And like, I'm getting all these messages from people in our agency. And then I checked my email real quick and it was like offered the Fairly Odd Parents reboot. I was like, no effing way. Like, no, no, no way. But then I call and I was like, hello? They're like, congratulations, you got this. But you can't tell anyone about it, but like, you got this. And so, yeah, I sat on that for 2 years, and it wasn't until May 20th of this year in 2024 where our trailer dropped, and then all of season one is out now. Like, I grew
That's
up
so
watching the show.
amazing.
And so when again, finding out was just like, holy shit, this is
That
a
was like a full circle moment for you.
full circle moment.
That's amazing, man. I'm so happy for you. Do you watch any of the stuff that you're in?
Oh, I watch all the stuff I'm in because you listen, I know some people are like, I hate the sound of my voice, but because the world I came from before as a public radio reporter, I'm so used to listening to the sound of my voice. And I'm not like, I love my voice. I mean, like I do, but I'm not like egotistical like that. But yeah, because I don't know what makes it into the final cut. And also, it's like homework for me to see what I liked and what I didn't like and how I can improve. But most of the times when I'm watching stuff, like I don't even recognize that's my voice. Like I know it, but I have this cognitive dissonance that happens where I'm like, whoa, that's so cool, whoever did that. Oh shoot, I know her.
That's pretty dope. Now we talked about Fairy Odd Parents, right? And how that was like a full circle moment for you, and how I'm pretty sure you wanted to be in that, being that you grew up watching Fairy Odd Parents. Is there any ongoing or upcoming series that you got your eye on, or you know that you might have watched back in the day that's still airing, and you're like, man, I want to get on that show?
Uh, yes and no. It's something that hasn't been announced, and because I don't know if it's actually happening, but it's actually live action. If
Mm.
they did a live action Legend of Korra, I am guns a
Oh,
blazing going after Korra without shadow of a doubt.
I
Without
love it.
a shadow of the doubt, Flea Boy.
I love it. I love it, man. I ain't gonna lie. What did you think about the last Airbender, the live
I
action that they did on Netflix?
I was crying the first couple minutes of the first episode. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe it's happening!" Because in that moment, I'm like, "Okay, cool. If this takes off and does well and gets renewed for book seasons 2 and 3, Korra's happening. It's gonna happen. The dream is being manifested." But I will admit, people have their opinions about it. And I know there's a good chunk of people who are like, "Oh my gosh, the directing and the acting and the wigs, like, Princess Yue's wig. Okay, I get it." But I'm an optimist, so I'm like, okay, you know what? Yes. It was different from what maybe we were expecting in some areas. Like, for example, what I loved about the animation so much was Iroh and oh my gosh, Prince Zuko's relationship.
Yeah,
As their moments of vulnerability were earned and they didn't happen often. And I love the two actors who play them, Paul and Dallas. Amazing.
I
Love them.
truly enjoyed that series also.
I really did love both of them, but I will say it felt like the vulnerable moments came a lot more often than I was anticipating. So I was like, okay, it's just a different interpretation. So I
I'm
was good.
pretty sure as the series progresses, we're gonna get these dark moments, and we're gonna want those vulnerable moments because it's gonna get dark real fast. I'm pretty sure.
Yes, I love
Now
it.
let me ask you, right? Basically, you got a couple of characters under your belt now. Do you have one that you really, really like? hold near and dear? Is it Jasmine? Would that be Jasmine?
I love my baby girl Jasmine. Yeah. Because part of the reason why I wanted to get into voice acting in the first place was because I wanted to represent for my people. My people looks like a lot of different people, right?
Mhm.
Initially, it was purely for like my racial identity, like as a Vietnamese American. It actually stems from a memory I have with my mom. She's still with us and everything, but her and I would go to the theater, which is one of my happy places, and she would watch through the credits and like point out all the Viet last names and be like, "Oh, Tran, oh, Nguyen, oh, Vo," you know. And there was a period of my life where like I was ashamed of my Viet identity. Like I was like, I get it, but I think there was a part of me that just like wanted to be white. And as I grew up and I just spent more time with my parents who were really active in the Vietnamese community in Seattle, which is where I'm at,
Mhm.
I just started to really embrace that part of my heritage. And I was like, oh shit, my mom's like badass. She's pointing out these holes that I want to fill. Like, let's get some Nguyen or Win, however you pronounce it. It's tomato, tomato, up there. And so that's why Merk Nguyen is not my actual name. Legally, it's Angela Escudero. Um, but I wanted Merk as it's a pun. It's a pun off of former German Chancellor Angela Merkel's name. So it's a way to honor like my name, birth name. And then Nguyen is like, yeah, you know, my maiden name. And so I Jasmine Tran as a Vietnamese character, I'm like, oh my gosh. The fact that she is on such a big property and like I get to bring her to life, she's someone who I hold near and dear to my heart. And also recently, I went down to LA because we had our season 1 rap party, and I had never been to a rap party before. And it was just, you know, like the animators were there, the writers, the directors, other actors, and I was like, oh my gosh, this
That was must have been a sight, man.
dude. Okay, I gotta
Did
show
they
you this.
fly you out?
No, I had to fly myself out, but worth it, worth it.
Worth it, definitely worth it. Let me see.
Free swag. So this was all the title cards from season 1, and it's in like the 2D animation style because the show is like 3D. Um, but like, dude, like this was sick. And then I had a lot of people sign my journal because I was like, I don't know if we're gonna get a season 2. Fingers crossed. But everyone at Nick was just amazing. Like the love you could feel in the room and just the hope for more seasons to come. Like I do feel like being a part of this show is being a part of history in a lot of different ways because the characters are so rich and the writing, it's mwah. So yeah, short answer, Jasmine. Yeah.
That's dope. I'm gonna ask you, right? Let's just double back to Chastity High because I was thinking of it, right? Did you have to do the dub and the other joint for it? Like, say for instance, if I watch it on dub, is that you or is that somebody dubbing you?
Oh, it's me dubbing the English version because it Chastity High is a live action and they use Japanese actors for that. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like you'll see like live people doing that, but when you listen to the English audio version, um, yeah, if
That's
you're
you
listening,
dubbing it.
yeah, yeah.
Amazing. Okay, okay.
So I've yet to
I
break into like on camera part of my life, but right now, voice acting, she's keeping me afloat for sure.
Nah, that's what's up. I'm not gonna lie. Voice actors need to get a lot more praise and credit for some of the work y'all do because some of the feelings and some of the emotions y'all pour out into these characters, like we feel them. Like we feel that, and there's times I don't, sometimes, growing up, you probably wouldn't blurt this out loud, but hey man, Jariah made me cry when he died, man, or you know what I'm saying? Things like that. You would go outside like, yo, bro, you all right? Yeah, nah, I'm good, man. Knowing you just watched some anime that just messed you up. But it's the passion of the voice actors that we feel and that trigger these emotions. Speaking of some of the characters that trigger the emotions, do you have a Mount Rushmore anime characters? Like, what would be your favorite four from anime, or it could be like from cartoons or anything like that?
Okay. Yes, I do. My first one is Cora. Hands down, I love her. I resonate with her as a character so much. Just like her struggle mentally, physically, and all these things. Um, so she's like at the center of Mount Rushmore. And then I gotta have my girl Blue from Blue's Clues. I
What?
was able to go to Nickelodeon and have 2 in-person recordings just because when I was recording Summertime Rendering, their studio was 1 minute away from Nickelodeon. And so I was like,
Mhm.
yeah, I've got 2 recordings coming up. I'm not going to fly back up to Seattle and then record. I'm going to go to Nickelodeon in person. And so I got a picture of this, which is the thinking chair with Blue. And yeah, so she's up there because that I loved as a
What was
priest.
the original guy who played in that show? Wasn't it amazing how he came back and made that video not too long ago?
Yes,
Didn't that
yes.
really like
It
wasn't
hit so
that
hard.
something?
It was when he was like, "Hey, I know it's been a long time since we've seen each other, but I see you." That I think were we still in the pandemic during that time?
I think so. That was kind of deep. When he came back and made that video, that was kind of deep. I kind of felt that. And I wasn't too big on Blue Clues, but it's something that when it came on, you watch Nickelodeon so much that you just happened. Even if you wasn't watching it, it was always on in the household. And if you got sisters or something, they watching it. So, it's definitely okay. So you got Corey, you got Blue. Who
Yeah, I
would be
got
your
all my
third?
Nickelodeon property. Like I even got they sent a box for my birthday. It was like a mini fridge with like water. Since then they don't I think they only sent it to you like your first birthday and after that they're like, "Nah, not in the budget."
Oh
Um
man, come on, Nickelodeon. Y'all gotta
Dang
do
it.
better, man. What's
Yeah.
going on, Nick?
Although I will say for Christmas I'm pretty sure they sent all of us ice cream. Like I got stuff sent to my parents' house sometimes and I was on a trip and I came back. They're like, "You got this big box sent to our house." And I opened it up and it was like packaged with all this cold stuff and had been sitting there for a week and it was ice cream. Like four or six different
Was
flavors of
it
ice.
still frozen or
Yes. Yeah, it was wild. So, okay, even if they didn't send me stuff last year, they did that the first time and I was blown away. But back to Mount Rushmore. Okay, second character. From the Owl House, it'd be Ida, the Owl Witch. She's just such a powerful, funny, quippy, maternal character who just like IDGAF attitude, but she actually has a really big heart. So she would be on there because I really love that show. And then, I mean, come on, it's got to be SpongeBob.
I'm not
It's
gonna lie. I recently went to Oklahoma Comic Con and the voice actor for SpongeBob was there. And mind you, there was a lot of people there. Like me personally, I think I went to go see Johnny Young Bosch and Steve Blum or Bloom. I
yeah.
went to go see those two, but the SpongeBob voice actor, his line in there was insane. I would think like some of the characters who voice like Spike Spiegel or Ichigo or even Gojo's voice actor was there, but SpongeBob line was insane. So
Still to this
yeah,
day. That's wild, dude. Tom
so
Kenny.
what
Also,
about anime? Do you watch any animes?
I do. I'm so sorry. My cats are like hissing at each other right now. It's gonna get pretty wild in here. So if you just hear like a it's
Oh, we got to see that. We got to see them scrap it out.
do it.
Oh, they about to get it.
Okay, so that's Constance.
Oh
Like F you, go.
yeah, it's about to go down.
Connor is about to go full Super Saiyan on her.
So let's talk about animes. You
Okay.
got three, right? Oh, it is about to go down.
Yeah, I got my animes. I could answer this while they do their thing.
I think I think they ain't gonna turn up. They like, yeah, we gonna wait till she get off camera, and then
Right.
it's on.
And then you're gonna hear
So your top three animes of all time. Now, this is your personal opinion. It doesn't have to be, the popular opinion like, oh, Dragon Ball or the big three. It could be what impacted your life the most. But your top three animes.
I got a whole list that I'm looking at. Because I know you always ask this question, so I'm like, okay, I got this big list of things. But top three, okay. First I'm gonna say, and you said animation, like doesn't have to be anime.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be anime. It could be animation only.
Okay. So One is Amphibia from Disney. I have a friend, Quincy Surasmith. He is one of my voice actor mentors and like someone who kind of helped me get started in this career.
Mhm.
He played some characters in there, but that show is so good, like Thai American representation, and it's so funny. But also, there's this one scene in there. I think it's at the end of the first or second season where like a character dies, and it's like tragic. Like your heart gets ripped out because this character literally gets stabbed in the back with a sword. And this is on Disney. Like, and it's for like the younger, not like Disney Junior, but uh Amphibia, number one. Two, as objectively as I can say it, Summertime Rendering is a very good anime. Like
Yeah,
it's
my friend Skateboard BP, he put me onto that. And I really enjoyed that one. That was a good series.
it was good, yeah. And then okay, is it cheating if I do a three-way tie for my third one?
Kind of, but I'll let you slide. You got
Okay. Okay,
it.
cool. So The Incredibles is one.
Oh, that's a good one.
It was just so dark and so good, but so
They just
dynamic.
announced Incredibles 3 too.
I
At
know.
yeah, the Disney D23, I think it was.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that I would say it's masterpiece that aged very well. Shrek 2, I F so hard with Shrek 2. Like I can have that movie on repeat because my sister, she got like a pirated version of it from Vietnam with family. And like she would play that all the time, but Shrek 2 forever in my heart. And then honestly, I really like Beastars on Netflix.
Wow, that's a good one. I can't wait for the final season to come out
I
this
know.
year.
Wait, is that the final season?
Last and final season coming out. I believe in man, either December or October. I can't think right now. I just reported this. How do I not know? I just
It's,
reported.
you got a lot of information in your brain, so you know.
Yeah, it's coming out this year though. Beastars final season. I'm actually kind of hyped for that. That's one that I really enjoyed. So
Yeah,
that's a
same.
pretty good list. I like it. I mess with it. So let's talk a little bit about you before we get up out of here. How did you? What was you doing before acting, and what inspired you to become? Well, you know what inspired you, but what was that journey like for you?
The journey looked like this. It starts back from when I graduated high school. I didn't know I wanted to be a voice actor right away, but I knew that I loved storytelling. I loved my voice or like using it and people. And so when I graduated high school, I applied to this youth media program in Seattle that was a public radio program and it taught you how to tell a story for audio. And so I told the story of my dad's escape from Vietnam, and then there was this parallel of me going to college and then him leaving Vietnam like after the war for the first time. And so that's when I was like, oh wow, you can not only read stories because I love books, I loved books, but you can write them yourself. Woo, excuse me. And so after that, I went to school for journalism and media production. And then I was just working public radio. I would work for the local NPR stations, whether they were in Seattle or the east side of Washington State, where I was living for school. But then I got into podcasting after graduating in 2018. So I
Mm.
was doing some editing and I was doing researching, but also I was co hosting, and producing a show called Adultish. And we did 5 seasons together, and the show is still going on, but I left after season 5, which was 3 years of my life, full time job. They are based in the Bay Area. And with that, I was able to move to Brooklyn and move to LA and move to the Bay Area and back up to Washington, where I'm at now. Um, but the nature of that show was very like, uh, I mean, I was on the other end of this chair, right? I was you, Flea Boy. But our show was really like raw and personal. And so my co host and I were like sharing these really deep things about ourselves for a very public audience. And I think after 3 years of that, I'm like, okay, this is enough. And um, also, like, I had at that point in 2018, I had known after watching Hotel Transylvania 2, which that's also like one of my top things. That's I'm like, oh, I'd love to work for Sony Pictures Animation. I just love the punniness and how silly it is and all that, and just like the monster characters. That's when I was like, let me give it a shot. So that's kind of what inspired like moving to New York, moving to LA. But ironically, it wasn't until I went through this like really bad depression and I hit this like mental health spiral where my anxiety was off the charts. This was like 2021. So like everything in 2022 my heart and my brain finally caught up to it all, and I was like, oh my gosh. And so I just hit like the lowest of my low. I was living in North Hollywood, but finally decided, okay, you know what, maybe I do need to leave LA, and that doesn't mean I'm giving up on my dream, but I just got to go back up to Linwood is my hometown. And so during that time, even in the midst of the depression, I was telling people like, oh, I'd love to be a voice actor. And so it was two different women from two different areas of my life who were telling me to take this masterclass by Nancy Cartwright, who's the voice of Bart Simpson. And
Oh, that's dope.
yeah, like one person gave me a free trial and the other one's like, you should take this. And I was like, okay, two different people from two different areas are telling me this is like universe energy. Like I got to tap into what God's telling me to do. And so, yeah, it was in July of 21. I was in my childhood bedroom. I had my first talk with my agent. And I was like, look, I want to get into this to represent for my people, like Viet Americans, queer people, Catholic people, people who live in the suburbs or just like in smaller towns who don't think that they can make it in Hollywood. But, you know, it's been 3 years since then. And like, I took a lot of classes. I kept on talking to people virtually, taking more acting classes. And that's basically gotten me to where I am right now. Being here
That's what's up, man. And you doing amazing for yourself, man. Love it. So now, do you have any upcoming projects or conventions you could talk about?
I do have well, I have video games that are coming up. Can't talk about them, but what I will say is if you know of stuff that's being released on September 30th, you just want to just play more video games. And on that day, just play more video games, okay? And then
And
also
listen out for our homegirl, man.
yeah, and also yeah, wherever you get them, consoles or on Steam, whatever. But projects I can openly talk about, I would say keep on supporting Fairly Odd Parents: A New Wish. When it comes out on Netflix, give it love on social media. Buy it now on Amazon Prime Video or Apple TV, or if you got cable, which I don't. But watch it on cable. And then Summertime Rendering, I know it came out a couple years ago, but it's still great. You can watch that on Hulu. And then yeah, Chastity High, which is also on Netflix. But I'd say you could follow what I'm doing. Check out my IMDb, Merk Nguyen, or me on socials at Ultra Rad Uber Fad. That has been my nickname since middle school. I'm not gonna change it because it's very special to me and my best friend. So
Nah, that's dope. That's dope. And one more question, man. Do you have any lines from any one of your characters or from any character that you might have watched that resonates with you on a personal level?
oh yeah, it's from my baby girl Jasmine Tran. She has a line where she's like, Hazel, I'm gonna use my voice to do two things. One, something something. Two, I'm gonna use it to change the world. And like, you know, for me, the reason why voice means so much to me is because growing up, I felt like I didn't have a voice growing up. I didn't feel like people cared what I had to say, but I think that's a big reason why I wanted to get into animation or like voice acting because we're all little kids in bigger bodies at the end of the day, you know, and I just want to be a reminder and hope for people that like your voice does matter, your story is important, and like live your life.
That's amazing. Heroes, if you want more interviews and discussions, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And also, don't forget to follow our homegirl. What's your handle again?
At Ultra Rad Uber Fad on everything, but I don't think I'm on TikTok. Actually, I might be, but I barely go on anyway.
But the links will be in the description below. Thank y'all for tuning in and have a good one.
Sing it with me, pretty Cali, pretty